Hey guys, good evening. I have never videoed in the evening before. It's usually in the morning. And it's just, evenings here are so peaceful. I just kind of wanted to spin this around and just show you. It's just really nice here. Got all kinds of we've got birds that come in, and I don't know, I think maybe they're getting mosquitoes. I'm not sure. We do have a natural spring down here. We don't have a lot of mosquitoes, but I have had birds and bats will come down. They'll dip down and swing down and get water in the pool sometimes. So garden's starting to come along. We haven't had a lot of rain. Matter of fact, we've had no rain until just the other night. Like 2 nights ago, we had our first rain in probably 2.5 months. So we've been doing the garden with the new well that we put in. That's been working really well. But obviously the natural rain is the best thing. So and after it did rain, boy, things just really greened up and took off. But I just kind of wanted to, I've been meaning to do this for a while because we're actually a little past the timeline for doing a 1-year update on our home. But we were in Texas for a few months, and of course when we got back here, Ben was born, and that's taken a lot of time. Although Ben, let me tell you, Ben has been such a blessing, and I was nervous about being a 60-year-old father. I'll be very honest with you. It was a mix of emotions. I was, a little excited about being able to be a father who was home all the time, retired. So didn't get to do that with my daughters. I worked all the time, just the complete opposite. And actually I had no idea how much I missed, because Ben changes every day. I mean, he learns something new, he does something different. Today, I'm sitting there making this noise. He's never laughed like that before. He smiled and he's made little squeaks and noises, but he literally started giggling, and neither one of us had ever heard that. So it was something new, and every day's something new with him. So I missed all that with my daughters. I hate it. I mean, obviously I had to work. I had to make money and support my family, and I just probably worked too much. Looking back, maybe I could have done without some things, but when you're in the U.S., it's kind of the mode you're in, I guess. More, do, and go. And that's what I was, just like everybody else, I guess. But I have so enjoyed being here at home with him. It's been really nice. So the purpose of this vlog is a couple reasons. One, I wanted to kind of share with y'all, update you on what's happening with us in our life. And just, because I think I've told you this before, but I'm a fairly private person. I know that's a little odd for somebody who does vlogs, but I didn't become a vlogger to, I did start a vlogging just to show how the house was built, how that process, and it just kind of evolved into more along the way. But as you notice, we don't upload a lot of stuff. If we take a little trip somewhere, which those have been far and few between since Ben's been born, but we do something about that. But that's really more for us, just kind of memories, I guess you could say. But the whole, I recently done some real estate type vlogs with Roy, my buddy from his channel, Married to a Filipina. Just to kind of give you guys some, heads up on some things that hopefully will not happen to you if you come here and look for land. And I don't wish any of the things that have happened to me happen to anybody, which is why I kind of do the vlogs, just so you kind of you can learn from my mistakes. It doesn't bother me at all. My whole life has been learning from mistakes, so it's not the easiest way to learn, but it does work. So I kind of wanted to do this in the evening, and before I get started on the 1 year update, let me just kind of update y'all on us. And these birds are just incredible. They're just right here. I mean, they're not really anywhere else but in my backyard. I don't know why. I honestly haven't seen this before. This is new. But there's something going on maybe in my garden. I don't know. Maybe some worms or something. I don't know. Interesting. But man, they are pretty. Kind of remind me of martins. You know, we used to have a martin house when I was a kid, and I used to love to watch them fly. I don't know if those are martins or not. Anyway, so here's the scoop. We are moving back to Texas. Actually, not back. I'm moving back to Texas, and Jen and Genesis are moving with me. And here's why. I'm just going to try to wrap this and kind of keep this short if I can. 2 reasons. I am not only retired Air Force, but I'm also retired public educator in the state of Texas. And I was a teacher and a principal, both elementary and high school. And then I think I finished my career up as a director in a district, and did about 31 years, and I retired. So I feel like I know a little bit about education and how things are supposed to go to teach kids, best ways to do that. And in the Philippines, they chose, for whatever reason, the government here chose to just lock kids down during COVID for 2 years. Actually, a little over 2 years. They did that to them. About, maybe closer to 2.5 years. And of course, they eventually got some online learning and module type thing going, which a lot of the kids don't have the technology to do that. So I kind of went to an option of doing online or doing modules. And I heard story after story about how the kids were just not, parents, if you got parents who are not, the education's not the highest on their priority list, maybe it's, getting the rice harvest in, or mangoes, or working in the market, or driving a tricycle, or whatever. Sometimes the education of your children is not on the highest of the priorities, and maybe they just didn't have the means or the wherewithal to help their kids get through those modules or that online learning. Now, Jen and I are both, fairly well educated, and we helped Genesis the best we could, but the bottom line is the best place for kids is in the classroom, bar none, as long as the teacher's good. And the teacher has the right, frame of mind of what it is they need to teach kids. Don't get me started on all this social crap that they're doing in the classrooms, which, I'm just, yeah, I'm all about reading, writing, arithmetic, science, and history, and anyway, kids need a good foundation. I'm not a huge, I know you'll be shocked to hear this, but as a high school principal, I honestly, a lot of principals think that every kid has to go to college, but I couldn't disagree with that more. I know for a fact there's a place for every kid, whether it be technical school or a university, or right to work out of high school. Just some kind of certificate type program, but something that could, they can make a living doing. Maybe college is not their thing. And nowadays colleges, from what I understand, is just, I don't know, I think they got a lot of issues to work out. And wouldn't hurt them to be a little cheaper too. Anyway, I'm kind of going all over the place here. Apologize for that. But anyway, Genesis, and all, he gets straight A's here. And, but I know for a fact he's got gaps. He's got quite a few gaps. And I just don't see the urgency, the sense of urgency here with the education system to overcome those gaps. I think they're just okay with doing things as they did them before. Even though they know the kids are way behind. We're talking about maybe in a generation here that's going to be affected by this. And I don't know how it's going to affect the Philippines, but it's going to have an effect. And there's a lot of kids that are missing a lot of stuff. And We tried private school here. We tried public school here. We've tried everything. And I'm just not seeing a sense of urgency. They cancel school here at the drop of a hat. They get out early. They don't stick to their calendar. They don't communicate that well, at least not with me, not like I'm used to communicating with parents. It just doesn't seem to be that big of a deal here. They keep telling me, oh, well, we send out stuff in group chat. Well, our son's not allowed to have a cell phone. And we tried that, and we had some issues, and so that's not an option anymore. But I've tried to get people to communicate with me personally on my messenger and teacher-wise, and it's just like pulling teeth. It's just a very different mindset here. It's almost like I can't describe it. It's very different than what I'm used to dealing with in the U.S. So, fast forward, Genesis's goal is to go he wants to enlist in the United States Air Force in 3 years when he graduates. But he's going to have to do some catching up. And I think it's going to be, if schools in Texas are still like they were when I was working in schools, it's going to be a challenge for him, for sure. And that's okay. Challenge is good. Challenging is good. So that's what we're doing. We are deciding to put him in school in Texas. Additionally, we've been out of the U.S. for 6 months. And Jen and Genesis have an immigrant visa. And I keep hearing that the moment we fly into Houston and go through immigration, that somebody could just decide to pull their visas because it appears as if we haven't immigrated, or they have not immigrated. And I can understand that. Of course, I have a reason this time. We had a baby. We had to wait till he got old enough to fly. And yeah, so I mean, I can argue it on this one, but I don't know that I could continue to make that argument as time went, because Genesis has school. We can't just rip him out of school and go to Texas for 3 months at a time. And yeah, it's at some point it's going to all become an issue. And I don't want to risk them losing their visas. It was too hard, too long to get, too expensive to get. And if they lose their immigrant visa, then Genesis's dream of ever joining the Air Force in the U.S. is over. Because can't do it without it. So we're going to relocate. This becomes our summer place, at least for while we're located in Texas. We will be back here when Genesis is not in school. This is our home. We didn't intend to do this. This was never part of our plan. It's just evolved. And I want to do what's best for him, what will give him the best opportunity in his future. I want to give him the opportunity. Now, what he does with it, totally up to him. We'll see where that goes. But if he follows the path he tells me he wants to follow, everything should be okay. So that's what we're doing. Trying to get a little bit different educational system going for him, and we're making it to where Jen and him don't lose their immigrant visas. And they have to have it for 3 years before they can apply for citizenship. Of course, they can be dual citizens, just like Benjamin is. So that's kind of our goal. But we will be back full time at some point. It's just right now, it's going to be for vacations. Not ideal, but it's what we're doing. Of course, we'll have family here at the house, staying at the house. We have a caretaker. We're not leaving our life, unprotected or whatever. But little tough packing your whole life for the next 2 or 3 years in a 23-kilogram bag. But that's what we're doing. I've sold everything in the U.S., so all my assets, my home, my vehicles, furniture, everything gone. So it's like starting from scratch. And I tell you, it's been a really eye-opening experience, because when I left 3 years ago, wow, prices are different. The home we're leasing in the Tyler area, wow. 1,300 square feet. We're talking about not a real big house. It's okay. We don't need a big house, but still wasn't expecting to pay what I'm going to be paying. It's doubled. rent has doubled from when I last lived in Texas, and I'm seeing that across the board. Even deposits on electricity and water and sewer and garbage, and everything's gone up. And I know the food prices, restaurants, everything has doubled. It's just crazy. I didn't do a lot of grocery shopping when we were there. I did buy, we went to Walmart grocery every now and then, and I could clearly see a difference. I don't know what it is now. It's kind of scary, because we're going to have to try to maintain here, which it's going to be okay. This is a solar system house. House is paid for, so it's really just maintenance and upkeep. Still, we'll see. There's a lot of unknowns. I'm a little nervous about it, but we're gonna make this work, and we always seem to be able to make it work, and we will this time too. I got somebody hopefully looking out for us. Oh, look at the moon. I hope y'all can see that. I'm sure it's probably really small on the GoPro, but it is big and full. So pretty. Clouds up over the mountains. Okay, let's talk about the house. This is really the purpose of this vlog. The 1 year update, which is really more than a year. I'm really, I thought about just walking around and showing you things, but if you want to see that, that's in vlogs on our channel already. We've got a lot of family here right now, so the house is kind of busy. We've got bags everywhere. Anya's crate. We're taking Anya with us. Let me tell you, I hadn't done that vlog yet, but that was a process. Oh my God, that was a process. It's going to be an interesting vlog to remember all the detail, everything I had to go through to get it to where I could take my dog into the United States of America. It is not easy. So, the house. I'm going to keep this in a nutshell. We have been through 2 earthquakes and 3 typhoons so far. And I know there's many, many more to come. We have sustained no damage. The only thing that we sustain, oh looky there, I love seeing these guys. That's a kulig, I believe is what they call it. I can get around on them. Was during one of the typhoon, the biggest typhoon, the super typhoon that hit us. We had a bundle of cables that hopped up over the edge of the roof and was just kind of hanging down. It didn't break, didn't tear. Just one of the clips they had put in snapped, and I thought it was my cables that go to my solar panels, but it was the actually the CCTV cables. So yeah, just had my brother-in-law crawl up there, because I don't crawl up on roofs very easy anymore, and he just put it back up and did a zip tie on it, and we're good to go. That's it. That's the only damage we've sustained here. So I believe the house is solid. I believe it, the foundation, I think I've told you this before, I felt it was, when it was being built, that the foundational portion of this home is done well. And if you'll watch any of my previous vlogs about the building of this house, really the only thing I was ever upset or concerned about was the finishing of the house and the expectation of what it was we were expecting to get versus what we were told we were going to get in the end. So that was really my biggest concern. And I've gotten many comments about, oh, you got a nice house and that's a good price. And you're right. I don't what the part that I've struggled with is the things that we thought we were getting because of all the architectural concepts that we were provided with, but in reality we were not. That was not what we were getting. We were getting a bare bones Filipino style home, Filipino style kitchen, which I made very clear in our negotiation process before the contract was signed, was that that's not what I wanted. So it just was a little disappointing that when it came, push to shove, that's what I was getting. So what I've had to do since is add all those things. What's the things that we've added here? Gosh, the list is quite long. We've added shower enclosures, glass shower enclosures, mirrors throughout all the bathrooms in the house. We've added the kitchen cabinets, which were quite an expensive additional at the end of the building project. Apparently came already infested with termites. So we are, as those are being destroyed, because they're wood, they're apparently not marine grade, like we were told they were going to be. As those are being, damaged, we are replacing those with metal and aluminum plastic type cabinetry, which still adds. It's nice, but it's durable. I don't have to worry about our termites anymore. Same with our master bedroom closets; those are wooden, and they are having issues now as well. So eventually, those will have to be replaced. They didn't put any closets in our spare bedroom, so we've since added those. They installed windows with no screens, and we were told, even though I made it very clear I wanted windows with screens, but they said the reason they couldn't is because they were canopy like I requested, and the canopy windows they couldn't build with screens, and I've since found out that's not true. So we've added screens. We've added screened doors on all of our sliding doors. We built a front wall. We added an electric gate. We landscaped the front. We've built a storage building on the side of the house. There was an opening on the side. You could walk completely around the house. But I needed a little more storage. There just really wasn't any storage in the house. And so I built a storage / workshop. And it even though it was very difficult to get built, and I had to go through 3 different local contractors, finally got it done, and I'm very pleased with what I've got. So we've added the Bolo screens on the sides of the house, because just for privacy purposes. Like I said, I think I told you before, first couple of weeks we were here, it's kind of neat to wave at everybody as they're going down the road. But after a while, it kind of got to where I just wanted to be able to, if I didn't want to throw my shorts on first thing in the morning, if I didn't want to walk to the kitchen, get a cup of coffee in my underwear, I'm sorry for that picture in your mind, but I wanted to be able to do that, And so adding the Bolo screens was great. It was actually one of the best things we did. That project, however, with the group that did that, they did some good work. They just didn't finish. Like a lot of the contractors I've hired, at the end of the project, they kind of just flame out. And my mistake was I had already paid them everything, so they had no financial incentive to come back and finish the job. Was just hoping ethically they would do what they said they were going to do. Didn't always happen. We've added CCTV. We've added a water filtration system that I actually had already bought when the house was being built. Turns out I didn't need it because our deep well water is awesome, but I went ahead and put it on because I already had it. Don't have to change the filters about maybe every once a year, actually, is about all I change them. Really was 6 months, but now that we've got this other well that we're using for the garden, the pool, and the front yard, our water usage in the house is very low, and so those filters will last a lot longer than they were. They weren't expensive to begin with, but we did add that. We added solar to the house. That has been one of the best things that's happened. Now, let me just say this. I was a huge fan of the company that did our solar installation. I still am. But I am hearing some things from at least one subscriber that went with the same company based on my recommendation. And he's had some issues, some pretty serious issues, like his inverter, DEY inverter was having some problems. They took it for diagnosis. 6 months later, he still doesn't have his inverter. That's nuts. I've reached out to LES out of Pangasinan, the group that did our installation, which we really, other than keeping our battery for 3 weeks for diagnostics, we've had no issues. They've been very, very good to us, and the whole process has been wonderful. But keeping somebody's inverter for 6 months, not cool. Don't know why. So I reached out. I just wanted to hear both sides of the story, and not that they, are obligated to tell me a thing, but I am out here saying good things about them simply because my experience was so good. I really, it gets tough, endorsing. There was no paid endorsement. I have never had a paid endorsement that I know of. I just tell people if I have a good experience or not, and then hope if somebody else uses them based on that experience, that they have the same or similar or even better. In this case, this gentleman did not have and is not having a good experience, and I feel bad. The good, the bad, the Philippines.